Here it is. The most disturbing 600-pound life iceberg. You know, for a fact, we're gonna be taking a look at this. Come on, chetos. We gotta take a look at it. You know, as someone who is going on their weight loss journey, I have to see how drastic these are.
I think that by me getting rescued,
22 disturbing My 600-Pound Life moments, 7 levels. From questionable diets to incurable medical disasters, I have compiled the ultimate iceberg of the most disturbing cases to ever come on My 600-Pound Life. In the beginning, things seem shocking but still manageable, but the deeper we go, the more impossible they get.
Damn, that is some crazy.
Also, while we might—
Holy God, Jesus Christ. I never knew a human body could ever be inflated like that, to be honest.
Be critical of some of the actions and attitudes.
You know the funny thing about it, I say I'm fatter, so, but my God, dude, standing literally next to them, I feel like I'm the most skinniest woman in the world. I feel like a supermodel.
That people have taken on this show, we do truly only wish them the best in their continued recovery.
Holy shit, dude. The thighs have fucking rolls in them. What is that? What the fuck is that? I didn't know it was possible. That looks painful. It looks fake. Dude, you can see her pores. Dude, look at it. You can fucking see her pores, dude. That is insane. That is insane. I don't even know how that's even possible.
Let's start at the tip of the iceberg. Disclaimer. Level 1. Joyce Delviscoco. Joyce Delviscoco from Gardner, Kansas became one of the most unforgettable patients on My 600-Pound Life Season 8. Viewers first met her when she was 44 years old and nearly 800 pounds.
Jesus.
And that shocking number set the
God.
stage for her difficult
She almost weighs 1,000 pounds, dude. Jesus Christ.
journey. But Joyce's challenges did not start with the number on the scale. She had a history of trauma and instability. After her parents' divorce, she was raised by her grandmother, who overfed her from a very young age.
But I did love being with my grandmother because she gave me constant attention and was always feeding me and making sure I had what I needed.
So it's the grandma's lover, so basically gave her like, you know.
And I think that's when my love for food probably started. But she fed me so much that I put on around 40 to 50 pounds while I was with her.
Oh,
By the age of 8, she already weighed close to 900 pounds. Food became...
Whoa. Go back.
Her.
By the age of 8, she already weighed close to 900 pounds.
Ay, puta madre, no way. Are you serious? No shot. I don't believe that. No way, dude.
While I was with her.
By the age of 8, she already weighed close to 900 pounds.
Impossible. I don't believe that.
Food became both her comfort and a kind of coping mechanism.
I don't believe that.
During her teenage years, she started working at a fast food restaurant, which only increased her access to unhealthy meals. As the scale continued going up, Joyce's mother tried to intervene by placing her on a diet and involving her in the daycare business. However, Joyce found it too difficult to break free from the cycle of emotional eating. In 2020, when she appeared on My 600-Pound Life, she was dealing with severe mobility and self-care issues that had built up over many years. She relied on her mother and her close friend Dawn for everyday care, and while they supported her, they often enabled her unhealthy habits. During her treatment, she lost well over 130 pounds, but later regained nearly 60.
Oh my God, dude. That's I'm like touching my neck fat and everything, like my neck or so. I'm like, even like me looking forward or so, like that, like how she's doing or so, I don't even have anywhere near that. I have to literally lower my head all the way down or so, like all the way down, in order for me to get like a second chin for it to come out. Like I have to look like really hard or so to look down or so, and then that's basically it.
That annoyed her, and she started blaming Dr. Now's plan, the weighing scale, the diet, and almost anything around her. Eventually, her continued defiance forced Dr. Now to formally drop her from the program, saying he can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped.
That's true.
Because she can't afford to waste any more time playing games or making excuses.
Yep.
Her body is not going to be able to take the strain of her weight for much longer, especially if she starts to gain again.
Beyond the show, people who knew her personally painted a similar picture. A Reddit user who grew up around Joyce remembered her as kind at times, but also manipulative, even when she was closer to 400 pounds and still mobile. They recall how she ran a daycare and sometimes used children and friends to gain sympathy or free help. To them, watching the episode was a grim reminder that some people never change.
True.
Earlier this year in February, Joyce was scheduled for surgery. She even requested prayers on her Facebook, but never really shared anything about the surgery later.
She probably didn't get accepted.
Angela Johns. Angela Marie Dunham-Johns, better known as Angie J on My 600-Pound Life, is remembered as one of the most chaotic and controversial patients.
Holy fuck, that looks like a chicken drumstick. I ain't gonna lie, man. That literally looks like a big ass chicken drumstick. Oh my god. Damn, thick thighs sure don't save these lives, I'm gonna be honest with you.
The show has ever had. When she appeared in season 7, she weighed around 608 pounds and admitted that food had always been her biggest comfort.
Much, to be honest.
But behind her weight were years of deep struggles. Angela opened up about a painful past filled with trauma, including physical and emotional, and unstable family relationships that pushed her further into food addiction.
When I was 8 years old, I was sexually by a family friend.
Yikes.
When I finally came out about it, my mom didn't defend me. So I felt unprotected by people who were supposed to protect me. It was at that point that I started eating more.
At the same time, she was living with
It's weird, I'm the polar opposite or so. If I get like, if I get sad or anything like that or whatnot, I don't get depressed or anything like that, but if I get sad or like really sad or so, I just don't eat. I'm like the complete opposite. I don't eat.
her husband and her brother to take care of her. Still, her day-to-day life was full of pain. She described feeling burning and ripping sensations across her skin. Bathing herself
I wonder why.
Had become a struggle, and she also admitted that she hadn't even been able to wear shoes in years.
That's fucking terrifying, dude. That's terrifying. You know that you have to change your life or so if you literally can't fit in shoes anymore.
On the show, Angela's time with Dr. Now was anything but smooth. While she started with motivation to change, old habits soon took over. Angela missed appointments, fought with Dr. Now, and even called his program bullshit.
So I'll play this little game for a little longer. But at this point, all of this has been total bull.
Lab tests showed she was using opioids, but she denied it, all while continuing to smoke heavily. Dr. Now gave her several chances. He even told her she needed to enter rehab, but Angela refused. Instead of taking accountability, she often blamed scales or outside circumstances for her setbacks. And eventually, her refusal to follow the plan led to her being removed from the program. Viewers didn't hold back their opinions. Many on social media ranked her among the most difficult patients to ever appear on the show.
Makes sense.
They pointed out how she guilt-tripped her daughter, forced her into caregiving roles despite being pregnant, and constantly contradicted herself.
I am tired of every single time a little thing is said around here, your dramatic boyfriend gets escalated to up here.
Some felt sympathy for her past, but most believe she wasn't willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
But that's not all. After her dramatic exit from My 600-Pound Life, Angela claimed she wasn't done with her journey. She continued to work toward health on her own terms, meaning she ditched the calorie count, but avoided buying foods that might hinder her progress. Later, Angie claimed she had shed enough weight and was approved for bariatric surgery, and report suggests that she lost over 250 pounds, no longer.
It's not bad. It's a good start, but the problem is you're going to keep going, though. You should keep going. Keep going at it.
Needed a wheelchair and was even considering skin removal surgery. By 2021, she's moved to Iowa, gotten engaged, gotten clean, joined a gym, and was trying to rebuild her life, which was actually really great, but many fans doubt her story because of the inconsistencies in her claims.
That's pretty good. At least she's turning it around.
Stephanie Smith.
I'll give it to her.
Stephanie Smith's story on My 600-Pound Life was about how tangled the web of family, food, and denial can become.
It's a good start, so she's,
At 36 years old, Stephanie weighed over 600 pounds and was mostly confined to her living room. She admitted one of her biggest fears was going to sleep and never waking up because the weight on her chest made it hard to breathe. But food still ruled her thoughts.
I love just how delicious it tastes, how happy it makes me feel. How, like, it melts away my thoughts.
What the hell is that? What am I looking? Is that salt? Is that a plate of bacon? Is that a plate of bacon and sausages? Oh my god, dude. You got waffles, you got pancake. What the hell is this on the left? What is this? Is this rice or is this eggs? Oh my god, there's so much food. Holy cow, it makes me want to vomit.
Brings me to life when I eat.
Her mother cared for her around the clock and ended up acting less like a parent and more like a servant. She brought meal after meal, ran every errand, and carried the burden of Stephanie's daily needs. Viewers could see that love and care had turned into enabling, and instead of helping Stephanie change, her mom's constant compliance made things worse. Stephanie wasn't always like that. Growing up, she bounced through foster care, unstable housing, and the devastating loss of her father. Through it all, food became her one steady source of comfort and a stand-in for affection. By the time she had kids of her own, emotional eating was second nature, and one way or another, she was passing it down to them.
Oh no.
Her trip to Houston to see Dr. Now showed just how deeply the cycle ran. The long car ride was filled with frequent stops at fast food restaurants, painful swelling, and constant discomfort. When she finally weighed in, Dr. Now warned she was on track to hit 700 pounds if nothing changed.
You know, you're gonna hit 700 pounds, and after that you're gonna be bedridden, and then your health is gonna go down really quick. So how motivated you are to change?
Extremely. That's why I'm here.
Even with all his efforts, Stephanie struggled to follow the diet plan. She did report losing around 70 pounds at one point, but official weigh-ins showed only about 9 pounds gone after 8 months. The slow progress frustrated Dr. Now, and he gave her ultimatums, but her excuses and avoidance piled up. By the end of the episode, she hadn't made the progress she hoped for. But in May this year, she surprised everyone by sharing a photo of her amazing transformation, showing she had lost a significant amount of weight. It just goes to show that progress doesn't always follow a straight line.
Yeah, she looks great, to be honest. She lost a lot of weight for that one.
Level 2. Lashanta White. When
I would
Lashanta
assume if we get all the way to the bottom or so, these people probably passed away. I'm gonna take a good guess.
White first appeared on My 600-Pound Life, she was introduced as one of Dr. Now's toughest cases. She weighed over 660 pounds and was bedridden for nearly 2 years. Her situation was already dire, but the environment around her made it much harder. Instead of support, she often faced negativity from those closest to her while others enabled her.
Oh my God.
Her mother bluntly told her, "No mom wants no fat daughter," and that remark clearly cut deep.
I comes over here and check her out, but I worry about her weight. My worst fear that I might come here and she's in the bed.
On the flip side, there was her boyfriend, JT, who said he'd leave her if she lost too much weight since he was only attracted to her at her heaviest.
What the What? What? I've heard of chubby chasers, but man, dude, that is just bad. That's just bad.
It was a toxic setup, and viewers could see that Lashanta's fight wasn't just with food or her health, it was with people who kept pulling her down. Lashanta grew up in a broken home where her parents' divorce and her father's infidelity never really let her heal emotionally. Early on, she started relying on food for comfort whenever things fell apart. And by 13, she was already pregnant, and more pregnancies followed while she was still a teenager.
I was thinking that I don't regret my baby. But really, I just wish that I stayed in a child place. I want to be grown too early. So to deal with that, I started eating more and more.
On top of that, she went through messy relationships, and one partner even threatened her with a knife.
What?
With so much trauma and financial problems, food remained her emotional safety net, and by her early 20s, she was already over 400 pounds.
Oh my God.
During the show, she often clashed with Dr. Now. She hid fried chicken and made excuses when she fell short of his expectations.
Wow.
And after failing to meet her weight loss target, she even begged the doctor for just one more month.
Give me one more month. Don't shut the door on me right now.
You keep lying and keep lying to yourself. And there's nothing more I can do for you.
But surprisingly, despite all the setbacks, she still managed to lose around 133 pounds during her time on the program. And that in itself was a major accomplishment considering the uphill battles she was fighting. Gina Crasley. Gina Crasley's time on My 600-Pound Life was intense, emotional, and sadly short-lived. When she first arrived, she was over 600 pounds, stuck in a chair, and completely dependent on her family. She lived with her wife, Beth, her mom, sister Allie, and Allie's fiancé. Her daily life was a mix of constant food consumption, limited mobility, and her family unintentionally enabling her every step of the way.
Oh my God.
She openly admitted to bathing only once a month and using food as her main comfort.
I wake up every day to the same miserable experience because my weight has me trapped in this chair all day, every day, and I hate it.
Gina's weight struggles didn't start overnight. Childhood trauma played a huge role. She suffered physical abuse from her father, neglect from her mother, and felt isolated alongside Allie. By the time she was a teenager, she was already over 300 pounds. Excessive eating became a way to cope with stress and emotional pain. Despite this, Gina had a lively personality that drew Beth to her, and they married quickly, but her immobility soon turned Beth into more of a caregiver than a partner. That took a toll on their relationship and made their dynamic even more complicated.
And being as big as I am now has also definitely put a strain on our marriage too. Because as I've gotten bigger and become almost immobile, it's become Beth's job to take care of me.
When Gina finally sought help from Dr. Now, the reality of her situation became clear. The doctor set strict dietary rules and weight loss plans so she could qualify for surgery. She made small wins like trying therapy, cooking for herself, and trying to be more independent, but Gina struggled with cravings, physical limitations, and anxiety, especially when traveling for appointments.
That's all mental
The
stuff.
biggest setback was weight gain before the surgery, and that led Dr. Now to refuse any invasive treatment until another 50 pounds were lost.
Holy cow,
The struggles
5 to
contributed to
86,
even
that's
more complications, and after just 3 months of her last show appearance, Gina passed away at the age of 30.
So
Her story
crazy, dude.
highlights
That
that
looks
extreme
so
obesity
crazy,
is
I'm not gonna
often
lie.
deeply tied to past trauma, mental health, and the environment around a person.
He would hit me, pull my hair. But at a young age, I
That-
didn't know that was abuse. I
that
just
is
thought
what
that's
she's
how
eating?
he handled situations.
Even with professional guidance and supportive relationships, an enabling setting can make lasting
God, dude, you
change
can-
extremely difficult.
Oh my God, dude, the flaps on her arms, bro. She can literally shake them and be able to fly in the air, dude. Holy cow, dude. They can become like wings.
Lupe Samano. Lupe Samano's story in My 600-Pound Life is one of the hardest to watch and one of the most painful. When she first appeared in season 4, she weighed over 640 pounds and had been stuck in her bed for more than a decade.
Bro, her arms look like
Her body
they
was
look so
breaking down. She had
unnatural.
heart
This looks
problems,
so-
weak lungs,
dude,
kidney
this
and
looks
liver
so
issues,
weird. I'm
and so
not
much
gonna
fat
lie.
around her neck that she needed a breathing tube just to survive.
Oh my
Being this
God.
overweight, everything I do is hard and it's a struggle. And my body's starting to break down. I'm in pain and I feel helpless, worthless.
On top of all those health issues, her home life was also toxic. Her husband Gilbert was supposed to take care of her, but instead enabled her eating and even cheated on her with another My 600-Pound Life star. Lupe,
What? 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 Oh my God. Bro, this is so crazy. This is so crazy ass shit that I'm hearing right now. That's fucking wild, dude. Homie is a chubby chaser, bro. That's fucking wild, dude. Jesus Christ.
was shattered, but she had bigger things to focus on. After her dad left and her mom ended up in prison, Lupe was raised by her grandmother, and food became her only escape. By high school, she was already 400 pounds. Then, to add to her life of trauma, her grandmother passed away. She dropped out of high school and just kept spiraling. Getting to Dr. Now in Houston was its own nightmare. She could barely move, needed help with everything, and the road trip was full of accidents and embarrassment, but she still showed up. Dr. Now gave her a strict plan, and the work was physically and emotionally painful.
This is not a game. One small thing can push you over the edge right now, and you won't be able to make it. If you want to change the situation, the whole family is going to have to cooperate.
Gilbert's behavior made it even worse, but Lupe finally started pushing through. One unforgettable moment was when a toilet broke under her weight.
Oh my God. I didn't think a toilet could break. Just you sitting on it. Oh my God. That's insane. I've never heard of anything like that. That's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. That is fucking... I've never heard that somebody ever broke a toilet just sitting on it, dude. That is the first time I've ever heard that, dude. That poor toilet. I didn't think they would film that. Oh, dude,
it was
that's crazy.
Humiliating, but also a wake-up call that she desperately needed.
That's good.
In 2 months,
that's actually
she shed
good.
over 120 pounds, and each milestone gave her a little more freedom.
That's good.
As time went on, Lupe left Gilbert, focused on her own health, and eventually dropped to just over 200 pounds.
Wow.
She even met someone new, and things were going pretty smoothly.
Nice.
Sadly, in 2019, her new partner Andrew passed away, and Lupe was hit with yet another heartbreak.
Life can take you on some unexpected turns, but just because the road changes doesn't mean the destination has to. I'm just having a really hard time staying motivated.
Yeah, but don't
She didn't let that loss undo her progress.
That's good.
And these days, Lupe lives in Redlands, California, and shares updates
look
online.
At her. She looks a lot
She's
better,
become a crucial
man.
reminder that even after years of pain, change is possible if you keep fighting.
Yeah, she
And
looks
hey,
way better
if you haven't been
now.
following along and want more stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss out on our next deep dive into struggles, secrets, and all the things too strange for the rest of the internet. Level 3.
Oh, here we go,
Gene
chat.
Kovi. Most people who go on My 600-Pound Life dream of turning their lives around. But for Gene Kovi, things didn't go that way. Instead, her story became the most talked about episode in the show's history.
I hate my life. I feel like I'm living the same miserable day over and over again.
Jeez.
When she appeared in season 7, she was living in Texas and weighed over 700 pounds.
Oh my God.
She spent most of her days sitting in the same chair and relied on her elderly mother for bathing, using the toilet, hygiene, basically everything.
That's crazy.
The situation at home made things worse. It was cluttered, filled with animals, and unsanitary, with dog feces and cobwebs in the corners.
Ew.
Jean developed painful infections from not being able to clean herself properly. Many believe that her hygiene was more concerning than her weight, and Dr. Now called her case extremely critical.
But the priority right now is making sure that we get the infection on her leg under control immediately.
Jesus.
It looks to be extremely severe right now. And if it gets into the bloodstream, she likely won't survive it.
But her struggles went far deeper than just food. Jean opened up about her childhood, which was marked by neglect and trauma. She was sent to live with a cruel grandmother, endured bullying, and even revealed an episode of abuse. Food became her comfort, and by the time she turned 18, she was well over 400 pounds, and before long, she crossed the 500 and 600-pound marks. On the show, Dr. Now put her on a strict diet and hospitalized her to treat an infected sore. During the initial treatment, she lost more than 50 pounds. There was hope that progress could be made under supervision and guidance, but after being discharged, she gained the weight back and found it hard to stick to the program.
Well, that didn't last very
Things
long.
took an even darker turn when her mom, Barbara, needed emergency surgery. During that time, Jean's father also passed away at home.
Oh, jeez.
The grief crushed her, and she admitted to turning to food again for comfort. After only 6 months, she quit the program, saying she couldn't continue without her dad and with her mom's health in jeopardy. At her last weigh-in, she was only 32 pounds from where she started. After leaving the show, Jean faded from the spotlight. She focused on caring for her mom and their many dogs, though she did pop on social media to claim she had lost over 230 pounds since filming.
Oh, wow.
At one point, reports said she was down to around 388 pounds, though the details were never made clear.
Barbara, I'm so sorry. I just heard about your husband. Do you know what happened?
In a twisted turn of events, Jean and her mom later sued the show's producers and accused them of ignoring their request to stop filming after her father's death. They also claimed the show refused to cover medical bills that they had promised. But despite their efforts, the lawsuit never gained much traction. Dolly Martinez. Dolly Martinez's journey on My 600-Pound Life was wild, painful, and filled with ups and downs. When she showed up, she was 25 years old and weighed around 593 pounds.
Man.
Her weight caused health problems like breathing issues and congestive heart failure. She also struggled with basic hygiene and mobility, meaning getting out of bed on her own was practically impossible.
When I wake up, the first thing I feel is pain from being overweight. Carrying around this much weight hurts more than anyone can ever imagine.
You know, you expect, if your body starts hurting yourself by the amount of weight that you have on you, you think that would be a wake-up call, I'm just saying. You think that would be the wake-up call? But no, it's not, apparently.
My whole body hurts.
Dolly's family life had always been troubled. Her father chose addiction over the family and left her mother Stacy to face the burden alone. Amidst all the family problems, Dolly was diagnosed with ADD, bipolar disorder, and oppositional defiant disorder, meaning she was constantly restless, moody, stubborn, and often argumentative with adults. And that defiance was heavily reflected in her lifestyle.
Sounds like a rebellious child, to be honest. In my personal opinion, a couple whoop asses and that'll get her back in line.
On the show, Dolly's behavior was erratic. She ate massive meals, clashed with her mother, moved in and out of controlling relationships, and struggled to stick to Dr. Now's rules. During the program, things got much worse when she got into a big argument with her mom and moved into a homeless shelter.
Yes, I have no freedom with my mom now. She's just stressing me out and making me eat more. I don't want to be with my mom, and I don't want to be with my ex either.
Eventually, after months of treatment, she did get down to 552 pounds, but never low enough to get approved for surgery.
Damn.
It was partially because her environment remained unstable and the support was also inconsistent.
Lord, that stomach,
I
Jesus.
haven't disowned you. I just want you to grow the hell up and take responsibility for your own actions.
I should have listened to you to begin with.
Since her episode aired, Dolly has shared a few updates. Her Instagram bio now says she's not homeless anymore and living day by day. In late 2022, she shared a selfie with her mother suggesting that their relationship may have improved. Still, there's no clear verified proof of major weight loss beyond what was recorded on the show.
That's crazy.
Level 4.
Here we go.
Pauline Potter. Polly Potter's battle with obesity was already historic before she walked into My 600-Pound Life. In 2011, she made headlines with Guinness World Records officially named the world's heaviest living woman.
Oh my God.
She weighed 643 pounds at the time, and when she joined the show in 2015, her weight had climbed to nearly 670 pounds. She could barely move and relied almost completely on her son, Dylan, for everything. Dylan's role in her story is what shocked viewers the most. He was only in his early 20s, but he had to cook for her, bathe her, and even help her use the washroom.
Wow.
I just do wish that she could walk longer and stand up longer so I wouldn't have to help her with everything. I could get on with my own life and live on my own.
On Reddit, one fan said he looked so dead inside and pointed out how he had no real chance to live a normal life while being his mom's full-time caregiver. When Pauline finally met Dr. Now, she was desperate to change. With a strict diet in the hospital, she lost 44 pounds pretty quickly, and that was enough for Dr. Now to approve her for surgery. After that, the weight started coming off faster, and over the years, Pauline has dropped more than 500 pounds.
Wow.
That's an incredible amount of weight, and it couldn't have been easy. She struggled many times to stick with the program, and honestly, losing weight is one thing, but keeping the weight off is the bigger challenge.
That is true.
Yet, Pauline proved that nothing is impossible if you're dedicated enough.
The key is to eat smaller portions.
Always.
I haven't moved around very much because of the pain still being there. But I'm definitely finding my own pace.
Even today, Pauline's journey gets people talking. Some admire how far she's come, while others can't forget the toll it took on Dylan. More than the weight loss transformation, her episode is about how a health problem can affect more than one person's life.
Dylan is 21, and his full-time job is taking care of me. I totally feel like he's the parent and I'm the kid. I feel like I possibly could ruin my son's life.
In the end, Pauline will be remembered not just for her time as the world's heaviest living woman, but also for her fight to change and ultimately...
Wow, she changed a lot. Look at that. Wow, dude. Whoa, that's great. That's a big change. I'm not gonna lie. That's a really huge change. I'll be honest with you.
One of the biggest drops on the scale.
Damn, that's crazy.
Angela Gutierrez. Not everyone gets a do-over, but Angela Gutierrez did when she stepped onto My 600-Pound Life. By the time she appeared in Season 7, Angela's story was already complicated. She had gone through gastric bypass surgery once before, only to gain all the weight back. And that alone showed how much she struggled with food addiction. On top of that, her personal life was filled with pain. She had lost custody of her children, struggled with severe depression, and had even tried to take her own life.
Oh my God.
I tried to take my life. I spent 30 days in the Middletown psych ward. The day I left, I checked myself into a rehab. 3 months I was in rehab. But I was still gaining weight though. We were eating a lot.
For Angela, this program felt like her last chance to rebuild a life she had already lost once. However, she wasn't ready to put in the work. Dr. Now gave her the simple, strict plan that had helped so many others, but she couldn't stick to it. Instead of pushing forward, Angela often made excuses or denied the severity of her condition.
I'm not doubting your desire to lose weight. What I'm concerned about is whether you're going to be willing to do what you need to make that change instead of continuing to make excuses. And everything you're saying, I have heard it before from patients who tell me the same thing while crying. But they still refuse to take responsibility for their choices.
Her most infamous moment came in the bathroom when she had a full-blown meltdown that left viewers shocked. The scene perfectly summed up Angela's struggles. All anyone could see was that she wanted the results, but couldn't face the work it required. Rather than powering through, Angela walked away from the program altogether. She returned to Ohio and told the camera she could handle her weight loss on her own without Dr. Now's or anyone's guidance.
Fuck, man.
However, fans weren't convinced. In his follow-up, Dr. Now himself made it clear that Angela's refusal to face reality meant she wouldn't see long-term results. He blatantly explained that surgery and quick fixes don't work unless you change your mindset and daily habits, and that was something Angela simply wasn't willing to do. Since leaving the show, Angela has posted photos online showing small weight loss progress and insisting that she's working on her health. But for viewers, her story remains one of the most frustrating of the series.
I see.
Kristen Perez. At just 30 years old, Kristen Perez felt trapped in her body and afraid that every day might be her last. When she appeared on My 600-Pound Life, she weighed around 612 pounds, and those pounds made simple tasks like getting out of bed or bathing impossible. Her family constantly worried for her, and even Kristen herself admitted she couldn't live like that anymore.
It's killing me a slow, drawn out, horrible death. A lot of times I go to bed and I'm like, God, just let me not wake up in the morning. It's just so much easier. I won't be a burden on my family.
Food had become her main source of comfort, but also her greatest enemy. From a young age, Kristen struggled with rejection from her father and later faced trauma from a group attack. Those emotional wounds, along with depression and addiction, only worsened her dependence on food. In her 20s, she was already over 300 pounds and couldn't take care of her own children. On the show, Kristen's children revealed how much her eating habits affected them. They often called every day her cheat day and even confessed that she would manipulate them into sneaking food for her.
I've caught my mom sneaking food, but she said it was her cheat day. But it seems like every day it's her cheat day.
It was heartbreaking because while Kristen wanted...
You can hear her going... like she's running out of breath or so. Holy cow, man. She's like, I was like, Jesus.
And to be a better mom, her food addiction kept pulling her back. Dr. Now told her outright that she had to lose at least 50 pounds to be able to get surgery. Surprisingly, she dropped 49 pounds, which was quite close to the target. Then she underwent a complex hernia repair along with a mini gastric bypass. After surgery, she still struggled with emotional breakdowns, clashed with her family, and even tried sneaking food. However, therapy really helped. It made her face the problem rather than masking it with food. In time, Kristen made progress. She got down to 442 pounds,
Wow.
which gave her more independence. She was able to walk short distances, bathe herself, and even take care of light chores. Those were the things she couldn't imagine doing before, yet once she set on her journey, each step made the next one easier.
Hey,
And
nice.
fans admired her effort to change.
Congrats, at least.
Stephen Asanti. Stephen Asanti is one of the
Holy
most
titties.
infamous figures from My 600-Pound Life. From the very beginning, his life was full of challenges. He was born in 1981 and had a traumatic childhood. His mother was an alcoholic, his parents fought constantly, and when he turned 11, they got divorced. After that, Stephen and his younger brother Justin lived with their
Oh, that
mother,
neck
who
beard.
often neglected
Oh,
them.
jeez.
She prioritized drinking and her boyfriends.
She used to buy me and my brother fast food, cereal, cupcakes, anything we wanted to keep us quiet while she goes out drinking every single night.
As a result, Stephen turned to food for comfort. He would eat excessively and sometimes would even refuse to give any of it to Justin.
Jeez.
This early experience set the stage
have to
for a
freaking
lifelong
blur
food
that. That's
addiction.
crazy.
By the time he was 15, Stephen weighed over 300 pounds.
Ay, ay,
and that is
ay.
when his mother abandoned the family and the brothers moved in with their father. But unfortunately, Stephen's compulsive eating only worsened.
Yikes.
His father recalled how his weight damaged furniture and how he would pee in bottles instead of using the toilet. These patterns led to
That's
arguments,
embarrassing.
and
I'm
those
not gonna-
arguments
Dude, if you have to start peeing in the bottle, dude, instead of like using the normal toilet, that's embarrassing, dude. I would probably change my life almost immediately.
escalated to 911 calls. By age 13, he weighed 350 pounds.
Oh my god, no way, dude. They have to lift his ass in a fucking truck, dude. No way. No way, dude. They have to take this guy on a fucking truck, dude. That is some crazy ass. I'm not gonna lie, that's actually pretty freaking crazy to see that.
And ate 6 to 7 large pizzas
wild.
every day.
What?
As the years passed, his behavior became more extreme. He manipulated his family for food, posted videos online bragging about using welfare money, and even emotionally abused Justin.
You try to draw me out of a car, you slam my hand to the door, you punch me every single day, you grab me. That's why I can't stand being in the same room as you.
Every single day, Justin.
At 30, Stephen weighed over 600 pounds and returned to live with his father. His weight gain didn't stop there. When he was transported to Houston for treatment, Stephen weighed 730 pounds and was bedridden. In the hospital, he continued to manipulate staff, overused the call button, and even threw a jar of urine on the floor. It was as if he purposely made everyone's lives difficult. Dr. Now put him on a 1,000-calorie deficit diet and warned that if he continued behaving the way he had been, he would be dropped from the program. Initially, he did lose some weight, but his constant misbehavior led him to be expelled and threatened with being left at a homeless shelter. Back home,
his
Stephen fell into
legs,
old
dude.
patterns. Though he was
Ew.
dropped from the program, Dr. Now kept monitoring his progress, but even then, he missed appointments, lied about his care, and abused pain medication. Dr. Now gave him strict ultimatums, but Stephen never really bothered. In fact, he gained more weight. 2 years later, he got married, but still kept eating several pizzas a day, fully relied on his father, and showed little to no accountability.
This guy got married? All right, chat. I don't want to hear any of you guys saying, I can never find me a woman, okay? If this guy can get married, you guys can get married too. I don't want to fucking hear it from any of you guys in my comment sections or any fucking guy in general, dude. I don't want to hear it, okay? If this guy can get married, you guys can get married as well. I don't want to hear that shit.
Ultimately, the toxic patterns affected his relationship with his wife, and some reports suggest that they have gone their separate ways. Level 5.
Serves him right, to be honest. Serves his ass right, but he still got married though, so.
Samantha Mason. Fame, money, and food. The combination sounds perfect, but for Samantha, it was slowly turning into a death sentence. When Samantha Mason first appeared on My 600-Pound Life, she weighed nearly 800 pounds.
I didn't think this could get any higher, to be honest. Holy cow, 800? But she looks like a beluga whale, though. Oh my God.
Making her one of the heaviest participants ever featured on the show. She worked as a model. In this job, people paid her to eat massive amounts of food on camera.
After she started that modeling job, kind of makes her happier because those people just find her as beautiful. They find her as a human being, not some.
Oh my. Oh my. Oh no. This is bad. This is fucking bad. This is fucking terribly bad.
Huge maniac.
For Samantha, this meant that the very thing threatening her life—
Oh my God, it looks like a pair of butt cheeks, dude. Look at that. Look at that. It looks like a pair of butt cheeks. Oh my God, I need to censor that.
was also her main source of income. She admitted that the work gave her attention and made her feel appreciated, but it also pushed her deeper into a cycle of overeating and isolation. Her background helps explain why she turned to this lifestyle. Samantha battled weight issues since she was young, and food became her escape whenever life felt too overwhelming.
Food is just so good to me.
Man, I'm not like this at all. I'm like the complete opposite. Dude, you can see her pores. You can see her pores on her legs. How is that even possible? I don't know how that's even manageable.
It makes me feel like I'm at home.
As her size grew, her mobility shrank. She struggled to walk and relied on her daughter for care. Her life was slipping away, yet the demand from online clients kept her from making progress. On the show, Dr.
Wait, go back, wait.
Online clients kept her from making progress.
Her glasses are broken. She doesn't have the thing on the other side of her glasses. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. That's wild to see that.
On the show, Dr. Now was blunt. He told her that no amount of fame or money could outweigh the dangers to her health.
That's
warned
crazy.
That unless she chose her life over her career, there might not be much time left for either. This reality check was painful but necessary. Samantha entered therapy, began confronting the emotional eating, and had gastric bypass surgery. With several ups and downs, her progress was not perfect, yet she still managed to lose over 300 pounds.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's pretty good,
That
actually.
dramatic drop on the scale offered mobility and a chance at a better life.
And I've just focused on my physical progress right now because I feel like I needed to give that my all, since I've got such a big goal to hit by this month.
Even so, Samantha later admitted that she regretted appearing on the show. She said the editing made her look worse than she felt, and the public's
Okay, the editing made her look worse. All right. Yeah, sure, why not? You know, let's not take account of yourself. You know, you made yourself look like that. You know, no accountability whatsoever.
scrutiny was overwhelming. And in a way, that makes sense. But then again, wasn't her very job already putting her in the public eye?
That is true. That is actually pretty true.
Robert Buchelle. At 41 years old, Robert weighed just under 900 pounds. That is when he...
Oh my God, it keeps going higher. I didn't think it can. Dude, are you telling me at the bottom of the iceberg, we're gonna get people over 1,000 pounds? 1,000? They're gonna look bigger than a humpback whale?
He and his fiancée, Catherine, decided it was time for a change. They traveled all the way from New Jersey to Texas to meet Dr. Nazardan. For years, Robert had been dealing with pain and doctors had given him opioid painkillers, and over time, he became dependent on them. So now he was fighting two battles at once, his weight and his addiction.
So what is with this dilaudid medicine that you've been hooked on? I'm very concerned about all the pain medication you. We also are going to cut you off from the painkillers.
Dr. Now gave him a strict plan, and to everyone's surprise, Robert did really well.
Really?
He managed to lose more than 200 pounds, which was a huge step forward. He even got approved for weight loss surgery, and at first, it looked like things might finally turn around for him. But there was another side to his story. Without the painkillers he was used to, Robert started struggling badly. The withdrawal hit him hard, and it made him angry, sad, and hopeless. Through all the ups and downs, Catherine stood by him, but standing by meant she could see how much he was hurting. Even with the weight loss, Robert felt like he was losing control of his life.
Today's been the worst in recovery
That
so
addiction.
far. Today, the pain has really set in, and it's really hard to move. I'm really struggling today, having a hard day.
And sadly, after just 5 months of filming, tragedy struck. Robert had a heart attack in November 2017 and passed away. The news shocked viewers and left Catherine devastated.
Everything that we were planning is gone. And I don't know how to process the fact that I lost my best friend and person I was supposed to spend the rest of my life with.
She later shared that living without him was incredibly painful and that she felt completely heartbroken.
Oof, yikes.
And hopefully, time will heal at least those wounds. Lee Sutton.
But it's something that you have to take serious yourself when it comes to weight, because the human body is not designed to carry that much weight, because the body has to work 10 times harder for blood circulation and everything for the body to still function. And if you have this much weight in general, you're gonna end up dead pretty soon.
Sutton and his partner Raina appeared on the first episode of season 6 in 2018. At the time, Lee weighed over 700 pounds and Raina was close to 550. Both were struggling with physical activity, food addiction, and painful health issues. Raina was barely able to breathe at times, yet she still cared for Lee. She bathed him, cooked for him, and even helped him with basic needs.
Oh my God.
Their situation was heartbreaking, but what made it even harder was Lee's behavior. He was often short-tempered, accused Raina of cheating, lashed out at her, and even clashed with Dr. Now.
Okay,
You're asking me questions that I don't understand no more than you understand.
What are you talking about? You're choosing to overeat and you think it's okay?
No, I don't think it's okay at all.
Despite these challenges, the couple showed determination. They drove from Missouri to Houston, stocking up on fast food along the way, and faced their first weigh-in.
Oh, jeez.
Dr. Now made it clear that Raina had to lose 75 pounds and Lee needed to lose 150 before they could qualify for surgery. Both pushed themselves and dropped weight steadily. Lee went for the weight loss surgery first, and Raina followed.
If we don't do this, we ain't got a chance in hell. So it's not really a choice. So we have to fight, and we have to fight together.
However, surgery was not a magic fix. Lee's temper continued to cause problems in his relationship and with his recovery. Noticing the behavior patterns, Dr. Now suggested therapy for anger management. He even warned that losing weight would be no use if he didn't change his mindset first.
That is true.
Raina was absolutely drained by his behavior, but she never left his side. And the story didn't end with the show. In follow-ups, it was revealed that Lee had cheated on Raina, which caused yet another rift in their relationship.
Damn.
I see what I'm doing wrong. Yeah. And now I know that I need to change. And I'm very sorry for the way I've treated you, Renee.
Surprisingly, the two later reconciled, but the roller coaster never stopped. As of late 2024, updates suggest that Lee has moved on and is now in a new relationship with a woman named Teresa Lewis, while Raina has focused on her own path. Lee's journey goes on to show that while weight loss can transform the body,
Not the
it
mind.
doesn't automatically change the kind of person you are.
Yeah.
James King. At nearly 800 pounds, James wasn't just stuck in bed, he was stuck in denial. He had relied on food for comfort since childhood. His mother struggled with alcoholism and was rarely around, so James grew up with his dad. Food became his way of dealing with pain, and over time, it completely took over his life.
And I never knew if we were gonna have enough to eat. So I just started to eat as much as I could when I got the chance. And I remember the joy and safety there was in food.
By the time he was an adult, James could hardly move on his own. He depended on his girlfriend Lisa for almost everything.
Oh, God.
The problem was that Lisa also brought him the unhealthy foods he craved and even snuck them into the hospital.
That's not good.
Viewers quickly noticed how she enabled him, and Dr. Now eventually had to call Adult Protective Services because he believed her actions were putting James's life in danger.
Service?
That wouldn't be a good idea, James. You need an ambulance with the EMS on board to transfer him down to Houston, okay?
Okay.
Those who suffered the most with James were his family. His father went so far as to refinance his home to pay for James's medical trips, and his daughter Bailey dropped out of school to become his caretaker. But
that's terrible. Nope, that's not good. That's not good at all.
Instead of showing gratitude, James often complained or demanded more food.
Ew,
this made viewers understandably kind of angry, and many labeled him as one of the show's most unlikable patients. Dr. Now gave him many chances, but he refused to follow the strict diet plans. At one point, he even claimed to have lost weight, only for the scale to show he had actually gained some. Seeing this, Dr. Now set a clear ultimatum of losing 100 pounds in the next 2 months or being thrown out of the program. And unfortunately, James didn't meet the goal and was dropped from the show.
Things are so bad that really, if you continue like that, I don't think you're going to live to the end of year.
After that, things got even worse. James's health kept declining, and on April 3rd, 2020, he died at just 49 years old.
Jesus.
According to medical reports, he suffered from liver problems, kidney failure, and sepsis.
Yikes.
Chené Murray. Chené Murray's episode of My 600 Pound Life was as much about emotional pain as it was about her struggles with weight.
Freaking me
As a
out.
child, she was physically abused by a cousin and later suffered 2 miscarriages which left deep traumas. And these events drove her toward food as a source of comfort.
When I'm eating, I do feel happy. All my frustration.
Well, something broke outside. It's super windy today.
Is gone.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
But I don't have self-control.
When she joined the show, Chené weighed about 665 pounds, and she hoped Dr. Now's program would give her control over her life again. But because she repeatedly broke the rules and ate food outside the prescribed plan, she was never approved for surgery.
You're still eating whatever you want whenever you want. I don't think you're grasping how dangerous your situation is, Chené. With all the health issues you got, you may not even make it to 30.
After leaving the program, Chené turned to crowdfunding. She launched a GoFundMe campaign claiming her story was misrepresented by the show. Now she was ready to show the true story, and she needed donations for that and surgery. She said the show's editing made her look miserable. After the show,
Right, we're blaming the editing or so. They totally added extra pounds to her 100%. They just inflated it in Adobe Premiere.
Chené claims she went from 780 to 522 pounds, but maintaining that loss was hard. Reports show she gained at least 40 pounds back.
Well, that didn't last
Other
very
than
long.
that, she had health issues and at least one mysterious medical procedure which she won't disclose.
Like, you can't tell me that I haven't because I have. I've been through this since I was 15 years old.
If you have been through that and you know what's wrong with you, then you don't need our help.
Her GoFundMe didn't really work.
Of course.
She asked for $50,000 but raised just a small fraction. Meanwhile, she remains active on social media and posts live videos. Level 6. Lisa Fleming.
Here we go.
When people talk about the most shocking episodes of My 600 Pound Life, Lisa Fleming's name always comes up. At 49 years old, she weighed over 700 pounds and was completely bedridden. She couldn't walk, stand, or even bathe herself. Instead, her daughter Danielle and sometimes even her young grandson had to do everything, from flipping her in bed to washing her because she no longer fit in a shower. Watching a child take on such responsibilities left many viewers disturbed and upset. The most unforgettable moment came when Danielle discovered maggots living in the folds of Lisa's skin.
Ew, what? Maggots? Oh, I feel like vomiting right now. Oh my god, I never knew that could actually be a thing, dude. That is nasty, dude.
The infection caused by open wounds shocked even Lisa, who admitted it was the point where she finally realized she needed help.
I kept saying, my leg is hurting bad. And when Danielle pulled open the folds of my skin, she found little maggots on there. So now she has to check my leg every day.
With her health in utter crisis, Dr. Yoni Nazardan arranged for paramedics to move her from Alabama to Houston. It was so difficult that workers had to reinforce the ramp with steel beams just to get her out of the house. And even during—
That's fucking crazy, dude. That's fucking wild to hear that. Wow.
this, Lisa laughed and joked, which made her denial even more obvious. Now, Lisa grew up in a toxic home where her mother often used food as both comfort and punishment. At 11, she was already 120 pounds.
At 11? Holy cow, dude.
14, she became pregnant, and by 21, she had 4 children and weighed 330 pounds. Tragedy after tragedy, including family deaths and a partner, only increased her reliance on food and alcohol. By her 20s, she weighed more than 400 pounds, and after her mother's death, she eventually became bedridden. Dr. Now gave her a strict diet plan and set weight loss goals, but Lisa resisted at every step.
And we have got her weight down 87 pounds to 617. But I have serious concerns about Lisa's level of commitment. She made it very clear that she does not like the diet, so I'm very concerned about how this next month will go.
She continued to demand food, manipulated her family into sneaking her junk food, and even used sweets as a bargaining tool with her boyfriend. When asked to lose 30 pounds in a month, she instead gained 29. Dr. Now warned her bluntly that she seemed to enjoy being cared for and that she would die if nothing changed. And sadly, his warning came true. Not long after her episode aired, in August 2018, Lisa passed away. She did manage to lose some weight before death, but her story remains one of the most tragic in the show's history. Mercedes Cephas. Mercedes Cephas was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, and her journey is one of the most complicated in the history of the show. At just 36 years old, she weighed over 700 pounds and was almost entirely confined to her bed. Before the show, her primary caretaker was her 11-year-old daughter, Kimora. Wow. This reversal of roles deeply concerned viewers because no 11-year-old should have to deal with all of that.
I helped my mom by getting her what she wants and what she needs. And I know it's hard for her because she want to do for us and us not do for her.
Mercedes revealed that the struggles with food began after being mistreated by her own father. To cope with the stress, she turned to eating for comfort, and by her mid-teens, she weighed more than 300 pounds. Her weight steadily increased through her 20s, and by the time she reached Houston to meet Dr. Now, the scale showed 773 pounds. He immediately warned that her life was at serious risk unless she made drastic changes.
She has a very low probability of survival right now and may already be facing any number of life-threatening issues that we need to check for right now.
She was placed on a 1,200 calorie deficit diet and was asked to move to Houston for closer examination, but she often missed appointments, made excuses, and constantly fell back on the same eating patterns. She was sent for a controlled hospital stay and lost 160 pounds, but maintaining those results was where she struggled. Over the course of a year, she recorded a loss of about 80 pounds, which was far short of Dr. Now's expectations. Critics felt she denied responsibility and often blamed others for her condition.
That is true.
Her cousin Brandon also jumped in to help when she was struggling, and among the audience, he was deeply praised for his efforts, but despite all the help, financial stress and unstable housing made it harder for her to follow Dr. Now's program. Eventually, Mercedes left Houston and returned to her hometown, where she tried crowdfunding for surgery, though the campaign fell short. Today, her exact health status remains unclear.
Probably still the same. Maybe.
Shawn Milikin. Shawn Milikin's story on My 60-Pound Life was both tragic and deeply complex. He grew up in California, and by his mid-20s, food had become his refuge from emotional pain. After a leg injury in high school, he became more sedentary, and his weight skyrocketed until he was bedridden.
That irritates me
on the
so
show,
much.
he weighed around 919 pounds initially.
Holy cow, dude. Oh my, it actually gets higher. It actually does get higher.
And was later measured at 1,003 pounds, making him one of the heaviest patients ever featured. Shawn's mother, Renee, was his main caregiver, but her role crossed into enabling. She cooked massive meals, defended his habits, and at times even limited how much he moved. Dr. Now suspected that her influence was a barrier to Shawn's success. To prevent that, he minimized her hospital visits.
Shawn is used to his mother completely taking care of him. As long as she does everything for him, Shawn has no reason to leave. And she controlled him.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Nonetheless, after months of struggle, Shawn underwent surgery and managed to lose over 400 pounds. He even experienced moments of renewed independence, walking short distances and finding small victories in the struggle. But after his mother Renee's sudden death in 2017, Shawn faltered. Losing both a caretaker and his main source of emotional support, he regained roughly 150 pounds in the following months.
Dude,
sadly, his home life fell apart too. Mold and flooding damaged the apartment, and all his belongings were ruined. With limited resources, he tried to manage on his own and reached out for disability support and occasional community help. In February 2019, Shawn was hospitalized with a serious infection. His breathing worsened and the medical staff attempted resuscitation, but his heart gave out. He passed away on February 17th at just 29.
Wow.
His father, Matt, wrote that Shawn had lost the battle, but hoped he was now at peace.
Damn.
Level 7. Destiny Lache. Destiny Lache was the very first transgender person to appear on the show. When she came on season 7, she was carrying around 669 pounds of weight and years of emotional pain. She had grown up in foster care, and with no one around, she turned to food for comfort.
But more than anything else, I'm really hungry. We only stopped once at a gas station, and I got a sandwich and chips.
Things got worse when her brother passed away in her arms. The loss left her with deep—
Oh man, ooh, yikes, that sure is gonna leave a mental scar, all right? Having your brother died in your arms? Ew.
Guilt and sadness that followed into adulthood. On the show, Destiny spoke openly about feeling trapped in her body and leaning on food even though it was hurting her. Dr. Now came with some hope. He told her that surgery was possible if she worked hard and got into therapy. She was actually able to lose some weight and was later approved for surgery.
Oh, wow.
It felt like a happy ending.
And if you do that and you want to do this program, then I'll approve you for weight loss surgery. And we're gonna start you on psychotherapy.
But behind the cameras, things weren't as simple.
Of course.
In 2020, Destiny filed a lawsuit against the show's production company. She claimed that they pressured her, using her pain for drama, and didn't offer the mental health support she needed. And sadly, Destiny passed away on February 8th, 2022, at just 30 years old.
Well, short-lived.
Her brother Wayne confirmed her death and shared messages that showed she had been struggling with isolation and depression. James Bonner. James L.B. Bonner's story on My 600-Pound Life is the most unforgettable one of all, not just because of the weight he lost, but because of the tragedy that followed. Disclaimer, this segment discusses sensitive themes. Viewer discretion is strongly advised.
Okay.
When he first appeared on the show, LB weighed around 642 pounds, and his life had already been through some tough turns. Having lost part of his leg in an ATV accident, LB was left battling with limited mobility and depression. The only escape was food. Soon, the escape became an addiction, and before long, food controlled almost every part of his daily life.
And I could just see in my dad's face that I had disappointed him. Food was the only thing that helped, but the pain would come back, so I'd start eating again.
However, when he joined Dr. Now's program, things began to change. LB pushed through the struggles and showed incredible determination. He dropped down to 324 pounds during the show and didn't just stop there. He kept working on himself, even after the cameras were gone.
Okay.
There are times where you'll feel like you lost all hope, but it's there. All you gotta do is grab a hold of it and not let go.
His transformation inspired many people, and fans used his photos as proof that change was possible. But even though he achieved what many patients dreamed of, LB still carried much heavier burdens inside. And sadly, weight loss doesn't automatically erase emotional pain. By the summer of 2018, he was posting online about needing to face his demons head on. That single quote didn't mean much for many, but for those who knew about his mental health, it was an alarming sign. Just days later, those fears became real when news broke that LB had been found dead in a park in South Carolina. It was ruled a self-inflicted death by a gunshot wound. And what's even more heartbreaking is that he was only 30, and he was on the right track, yet he didn't feel worthy of living.
No one understands how hard it is to be over 600 pounds and missing a leg. There's days where I feel so worthless.
I'd be better off in the ground.
The news shocked fans, friends, and even longtime viewers. Many had seen LB as one of the success stories, so his death left behind a painful reminder. Later on, his family filed a lawsuit against the show's producers, saying the pressure of filming and lack of proper support added to his struggles. But in April 2022, the lawsuit was dismissed by the court in Texas. But if you are someone you know is going through a dark time, please seek support immediately. You're not alone, your value is not determined by your weight, and help is always within reach. And at the end of the day, most stars of My 600-Pound Life weren't to blame. Yes, they had behavioral issues, but those issues came from trauma, neglect, or the society that shaped their pain. All we can do now is hope that no one else has to endure the same struggle. And if they do, hope that they get the help they need. That's it for today's video. And if reality hit harder than you thought, why don't you check out this iceberg on the most disturbing movie controversies for the darker secrets of the cinema world.
Damn, that's pretty cool though. I ain't gonna lie, that was pretty cool actually. That was really cool. Damn, dude, I never thought it could actually go higher, or how crazy it can get, to be honest. Jesus Christ, oh my lord. And I sometimes say I'm fat or so, but man, compared to these people, oh my god. I feel personally I am, but you know, I'm still on my weight loss journey. Doing pretty good actually, to be honest. We got a little bit ups and downs, up and downs, but it's still going trajectory going downward though. Anyways, that's the end of the video. And honestly, that's some crazy ass thing. I will never. I don't use food as an escapism at all. Not at all, to be honest. That is not the solution for that. So, kinda scary.